All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Golfballing podcast, episode number 188. And this is a big one. The first time in over a year, we have a guest on, Rich from Gashouse Golf. Thank you for joining me. What is up?
Jackson, what's going on, my brother? Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate
Yeah, of
you
course.
getting me on the podcast today. I'm
Yeah,
stoked.
yeah, of course. When I was actually, I'll put all your links down below for anyone who wants to check it out or just type in at Gashouse Golf. It's some really cool polos. You're wearing one right now.
Thank you. Yeah.
And one of the things I immediately recognized was like, first off, they're cool, obviously, but they're like super reasonably priced.
Yeah. I
Like,
that was part of the reason of me starting Gas House Golf.
yeah, let's
You
hear it.
know, I was, it's funny. I was most people that they know me. Obviously, I still have my day job, and I was telling you before, I'm a financial analyst, so just normal guy, nothing crazy. And I was sitting in my apartment a couple years ago, and just like I'm sure your closet and my closet and all your viewers' closets, I have a million polos that were, maybe a stripe or a polka dot, nothing crazy. And a lot of them are golf polos are expensive, man. Like they can be like
Yeah.
75, 80, 90. I've got a couple Peter Millar polos. I love them. They're like $110.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, we have a game that's really expensive. Clubs are expensive.
Yeah.
Golfing itself, of course, is
Golf
expensive.
in
Everything's
general.
expensive. Golf balls are expensive. Every damn thing about golf is expensive. And I was like, we're and this is during COVID too. So I'm like, all
Okay.
these new players are coming, and I was like, we're ushering in this, new generation of the game and all these new players. And I said, well, what's one thing that I can do to maybe like make golfing less expensive? And when I was thinking of Gas House, I said, I want to make a clothing company that's really fun, standout polos, very Instagrammable or social media, because we live in such a social media heavy world now. That's not going to break the bank.
Mhm.
And I set it on the price point. We retail them online for $50, and while $50 is still $50, it's better than $100 or
Yeah.
$110. And I kind of told myself that I love the Peter Millar golf apparel and the companies like that. And I kind of put it like this: like I'm going to let them sell Maseratis and Porsches all day. They're in that market. I'm going to sell Toyota Corollas. There's a market for that too. I was like, you guys take the high end luxury market. I love those poles. I'm going to still buy them. But, for people that have to be a little more cost conscientious or maybe don't want to spend a ton of money because they just spent $900 on irons or whatever,
Yeah.
let's make a golf polo that's, fun to wear, not going to break the bank, and in that more consumer budget friendly category, because there definitely is room in the market for that. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I stumbled upon that price point where we're at.
That's awesome. So COVID, was it created around like 2020?
Yeah, so we launched right during we went live sales in like February, end of January, beginning of February of 2020. So that was like right around the time that like we were hearing of like, oh, there's this like
Yeah.
COVID disease. It's in China or it's overseas. It's not going to get to America. Everyone's going like, it won't come here. It's not a problem. And then I remember, what was like the first week of March, like America shut down. So we had our doors open for maybe not even a month and a half. And next thing you know, everyone's like, COVID's happening. And I was like, holy crap, I just started this business. Like I just, took money out of savings, and I'm like, kind of put my life on the line. I was like, I was like, how are things going to work out? And obviously COVID wasn't a laughing matter, but I'm just sitting there kind of like, oh shit, moment, like what would I do now? I've never owned a small business before, and never have I had to endure owning a small business during a pandemic, but let's go for it. Fuck it. I
Yeah,
was like, all
right.
right.
I mean, if you can make a brand new business at the peak of a global pandemic and come out of it alive, what on earth can't you do?
You know what I can't do is fix that over the top movement with my right
Yeah.
shoulder, man. I still got that slice I got. I'm working on fixing. I can start a small business during COVID, but I still can't stop that over the top slice movement. God, I'm always working on it. So,
I can't either. I was getting pissed off at the range today. It's like
oh yeah,
every single freaking shot, I'm slicing every single shot I hit.
over
So
the
I'm
top
curious,
and toey.
actually. I'm curious what your handicap is.
So my handicap right now, I think on the Gin app, I'm at like a 10.2. So,
Mhm.
I'm going out there. I'm shooting mid 80s.
Yeah.
I went out there the other day and I shot an 80 on the number, and I came back like a week later like an 89. So it's feast or famine for me. I go out there and sometimes it's like, oh, it's finally clicking, and I wake up the next day and I hit the same swing and I'm like, oh, what the shit. So.
Yeah, right. We'll have to set up some match when we move down to Florida, maybe meet in the middle or whenever we're in Carolina, whenever you're in Florida, because I'm around it. I'm basically like a 10. I'm the same. I'm the same
Perfect.
thing. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what you're going to get? We were just in Florida last week and I
Yeah.
pull up to the range, get a bucket. I hit probably 50 balls while we're waiting for our buddies. Nick can attest to this. And I shanked 48 out of 50 shots at least. Like it was every single shot. But yeah, welcome to the podcast, Nick. It's our third. Oh, he wants 1 minute. Once again, you can watch us live on YouTube at Golfballing on YouTube. So while he figures this out, I guess we'll pause the introductions. I was about to ask you, TJ Maxx. So
Yeah.
what's going on with Gashouse Golf right now? Because it seems like it's going awesome. I need to actually get some polos if we can make that happen. Because
100%.
Yeah.
Say the word and we'll have them sent over to you.
Hell yeah.
So I was golfing. This is it's end of June right now. So this had to be in March. Yeah, it was in March because I was playing in a golf tournament the next day. And one of the mini tour guys I sponsor, we were playing at if anybody's ever been to Charleston, there's a course called Patriots Point. It overlooks like the Charleston Harbor, a beautiful course. And I'm walking down like the third or fourth fairway, and I'm with Kyle Webb, who one of the mini tour guys I sponsored. And it was actually my first time meeting him, and we're playing in this tournament together the next day, and we're just shooting the shit, going back and forth. I'm playing really well, and he's out there. This guy hits it like 320 on the fly. It's stupid how far he carries the golf ball. It's ridiculous. So I just picked him up as a sponsor. So I'm kind of telling him about Gashouse. We're getting to know each other. And out of left field, my phone buzzes, and we run our the website through Shopify. A lot of places, run their accounts through Shopify, e-commerce, small businesses, and we have like a customer support, like contact us type of page. And if I ever get a message from it normally pings an email over to me, and I check it, see what it is. But half the time it's spam, people trying to sell you things, whatever. And I look, and there's a message on there from someone with a at tjx.com. However you do your work emails, however it's called. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I was like, I wonder if this is like spam, or is this real? What is this? And I look at it, and it is the gentleman. He works for TJ Maxx. He's one of their buyers, and he reaches out. He's like, "Hey, Gashouse Golf, this is who I am. You guys have some really cool polos. We're looking at changing our line a little bit, adding some more fun stuff. Is there potential that we could work together, collaborate?" And I'm like, absolutely. Next question. Or as my buddy say, next question. So I get done, and I was like, all right, let me email this guy back. So I emailed him back, and long story short, we ended up getting on the phone in like the next couple of days, and he went to me and he was like, hey, this is what we have. This is what we're looking for. We carry, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all the heavy hitters. We want to bring some specialty products. And we were like, what you have? And he was like, can we try to make it happen? I said, all right. So we crunched some numbers, and he threw out, how many polos they were looking for. And it was by far the largest order we've ever done. And he was like, hey, and obviously there's a lot of like logistical issues going on in the world right now. You always hear about, you read the news, CNN or Fox or whatever it is. And there's like shipping containers sitting out at port for a week, 10 days, however long it is. And he was like, how quickly can you get me, X amount of polos? We want to put them in stores from coast to coast. And I was like, let me get back with you. I was like, I'll make it as quick as I can. And I got on the phone with my manufacturer who's overseas. And I was like, look, this is what the opportunity is, what can we do? And they got back to me with, a price point that worked for both of us. They can make their margin, we can make our margin on our end. And I said, well, how about the logistics, the shipping? When can we get them there? And they gave me a date on, a rough estimate. And I went back to TJ Maxx, and their buyer was like, let's make it happen. Now, before I knew it, I had a purchase order in my inbox from TJ Maxx, and they own Marshalls as well. So it's like half TJ Maxx, half Marshalls. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Like from something I dreamt up on my couch in my house to like, oh, maybe I'll just sell some poles on the side and make a buck, to, wow, I'm going to be in stores coast to coast. Like it's crazy. And it was cool because it kind of gave me the ability now to where if I want to go to, other stores, like pretend like Dick's or
100%
Galaxy or whoever. And now I can say, look, I can fulfill orders of, this size. And I never thought it was something not that I never thought I'd get to it, but I thought it, I'd scale at a different rate. But here we are, TJ Maxx. They should be in stores later this year. They're going to ship out in the next month. So I'm just every day they're sending me updates, and they sent me photos today of just like this pile of boxes, just thousands of shirts stacked high. And I was like, this is crazy. They all have Gashouse Golf on them.
Yeah, it's super exciting. So yeah, Nick, this is Rich. Rich, this is Nick from Rich from Gashouse Golf.
What's going on, brother?
Sorry for the technical issues, new computer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, and then I was just running from caddying. There's a member guest, and it was a day. I actually had a lot of fun, but can't complain. So.
How drunk did the member or the guest get?
The guest, he told me he wanted to be the drunkest guest there. He was a 5 handicap who could hit the ball about, I'd say, 295, 300. He had a 224 iron into the wind. And I was like, again, he did have rocket ball irons, but at the same time, I was like, there's no way you're a 5 handicap. This flight, I think like combined, we had one match where like the other team shot like 4 under as a group. And I was just like this, and then our team shot like even. I was like, okay, so basically like everyone here is sandbagging. Like there's just no possible way any of these guys are fucking 5 handicaps normally. I'm like, they're 3s who play to a 5. It's just ridiculous. But
we're at
Glen Club.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah. So Nick, look up Gashouse Golf right now if you got your phone out.
I did look it up.
Yeah, you probably already did. $50 polos, and they're actually cool. And I wanted you to attest to this before talk about others, because I'm very picky with polos, Rich. I hate bad polos. Like I will just not. I'm not about it. I don't even want to. It's not talk. Like I'm not a douchebag, but like I don't. It like I don't really want to work with bad, ugly polos. Right.
I get
that. I mean,
who would, Jackson? I don't know who wants to wear.
I know, but
I can think of some brands off the top of my head, but
very picky. Very, very picky. And Gashouse Golf, I need some in the closet. I need some for when we're playing. I need some for when we're doing a podcast. This polo I'm wearing right now is probably 8 years old.
Taking off right now.
Just right. Yeah.
I got an extra polo like right here. I got polos. I was doing little pictures of my house today.
I don't know if I've ever even seen you in that polo ever in my life. Like, what brand is that?
You know what, Rich? I think I got this at TJ Maxx.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, so you're looking pretty freaking good for your average common golfer.
I'm just wearing. I won't wait. Oh damn, wrong. I'm wearing an Adidas polo. It's just had to put on a white polo today.
No free polos.
That's funny. And hey, whether you like our polos or you're out of any of those styles, I got more coming out next year. So we've got with the TJ Maxx, with that working capital that was able, we were able to get from that deal. That really enabled us to not only just bring out new polos for next year, but something I'm really excited about is launching our women's line, because women's golf is growing through the roof right now. I was reading Golf Magazine. I was sitting on the beach the other week, and I have a statistic on my phone, and I pulled up and showed the screen. It is ridiculous the amount of women that are getting into golf right now. And I was like, that's a market we definitely need to play in. And some of my friends that I know, their wives or girlfriends, actually play some college golf, and I talked to them about it, and they're like, Rich, most of the times we buy women's golf polos or we buy women's apparel, we actually go to like the tennis section of the store, because there's more tennis apparel than there is golf. And every time you get and not to knock on Dick's or Golf Galaxy, but you get the little pamphlet in the mail, and it's like 10 pages, and it's got like clubs and all the shit in it. And it's like 9 pages of men's stuff and 1 page is women's. It's like there's definitely a market for fun, photogenic polos and apparel for women, and that's something that we're going to do. We're going to launch our new line come early 2020. Oh my God, I almost said 2021. Jesus Christ. 2023 next year.
It's still 2021. So you don't
in my mind, if you say something's like 4 or 5 years ago, I still think it's like 2007. But yeah, so we'll have a new lineup coming out in January 23. Men's, women's, new hats, new polos, accessories, the whole deal. So we're doing that. And then another tidbit, and I won't name drop who it is just yet, but we are working with a liquor company that has signed a rather notable golfer in the last few months And I'm working with them on making polos for not just their team, but for him and his caddy as well. So he's still in his current contract. I don't want to like name drop anything just yet. I don't like to count my eggs before they hatch, but I was actually working with my designer on my team this morning. He sent me back some revisions and some polos, and we're working with him as well. And he's a top 50 guy on the PGA Tour. So I'm like extremely excited about that because if I turn on the Golf Channel and I just see someone wearing my polo, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna absolutely lose it. It's crazy now. Like I'll just be on social media, or like I'll be out and about, and like every now and then. I mean, it doesn't happen that often, but you'll see someone just like a random person in the wild, and they'll just have on like a Gashouse golf polo, and I don't know who they are. And I'm like, it is the most. It gets you. It's the best feeling ever. I love it. I'm like,
I bet it gets you gassed up.
It gets me gassed up. Absolutely. Yeah. Makes me want to go home and start working on more polos. So
hell yeah.
So that's something in the cooker it's simmering right now. We're working on it. So I'll have more for that in the future.
Do you ever want to do like a limited edition drop of just Jackson's face on a polo? I think that would probably sell.
We could do that.
Yeah, because again, I think just everyone loves Mr. Golfballing, and I want to be Mr. Golfballing when I grow up. So yeah,
we could definitely make a polo for sure. Yeah. We could design it Golfballing, Jackson's face. We could put some. I mean, you guys have great content on your page. With some of your best memes, we could just like memes everywhere. We can do whatever you want. The sky is the ceiling. I mean, I was laughing at what you guys posted about the Grayson Murray.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Body bag. Get out the body bag. Did you know he deleted his social medias?
You have to. My uncle actually owns a funeral parlor in New Jersey, and if he wants a good deal on like a casket, like we can get him for. I'm sure we can get a discount because he killed himself. That was horrible. I would have just moved to like the Swiss Alps and just never show my face.
Wow, I wasn't the first person to make a killing themselves joke on this podcast. That's really normal. Like,
well, okay, I hope it's not that bad. But
no. I talk a lot about my own death, so maybe if I can call
Nick shoots 73, and he's all like, "Fuck all of this, fuck that, fuck this, blah 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 blah." Shout out to Tom for this banger of a joke, though. Nick definitely spent at least a minute or two thinking of that joke there. But yeah, Grayson, I'd pick up the phone and I would call LIV Golf
right now,
and I'd be like, "Can I pay you to have me on for 1 year? Like, I'll take what I can get here." It sucks because I wasn't anti Grayson Murray until like 1 year ago. Maybe more than a year ago. Whenever this started, I wouldn't have any opinion actually on Grayson. Yeah, so you don't forget about the people.
I didn't know the PIP. Murray was a year ago.
I only knew about him when him and the Kevin. Not that I only knew about him.
Yeah, the Kevin.
When the Kevin Noth, their jokes started going, they started bantering. I kind of got into it. Like, this is great. I love it because golf is such a sport where there's like, it's not a dramatic sport. Like if you think of like their most dramatic show on earth, I don't know, like The Real Housewives or one of those really dramatic shows, The Bachelor, Bachelorette. Like if The Bachelor and The Bachelorette is here, I mean, golf is like below the floor. Whoa. And now golf, because of LIV and Grayson and all these like little fights and inner fighting is now like, I think I'm watching like, the Kardashians or something.
The Real Housewives.
Netflix is going to take it to here. Like next year.
Yeah,
holy cow.
Yeah.
Like I think Netflix is probably just like creaming in their pants just thinking about this season. They're like, holy cow, we couldn't have picked like a better time ever in the history of golf. In any sport, right? That there's a rival, like just so many storylines. Holy cow, they're gonna make millions. I'll buy it. If they increase Netflix by like double or triple, I'm buying it just to watch this. So
the golf.
Yeah. I'm still bumming a free Netflix account, by the way. So I'm gonna keep that.
We won't clip that.
Don't clip that. Netflix, don't come at me. Don't sue guys on the golf league. We're a mom and pop family.
My mom pays for it. So
actually, I'm curious before we get into because I do want to get before we lose you, I want to hear about some LIV stuff from you. But I'm curious if is this a solo show? I heard you have a designer, you got the manufacturer, but like, I mean, is it just kind of you on a day-to-day basis? Because that's a freaking lot, even without a job. I mean, like even if you didn't have another freaking job, that's still a shit ton of work.
Yeah, Gashouse is literally me. Obviously my parents helped me out with with funding it to start. I didn't come from like a crazy white collar family. Like my dad was a retired police officer, and my mom, she works in the wine industry now, but she was a hairdresser for years. And I kind of pitched them this idea back in like late 2019 before we started. And I was like, look, kind of want to take a leap of faith. Would you guys potentially support me on this? And they were like, we love this. This sounds like a great idea. And I was like, obviously, I'll run the day-to-day operations, working in finance. That's kind of my forte, daily logistics, financial operations, excuse me, procurement of product, dealing with manufacturers. Like I love that stuff because my the last company I worked for was a manufacturing company. So like if it comes like writing up a P&L or like doing anything financial, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I get to do it for myself. So
yeah, you're a G.
The Gashouse is just me. I mean, we see orders come in, we get them filled out. I've got, actually have a really nice area in my house that I like keep inventory in. So a lot of people don't know this, but if you order a Gashouse golf polo, luckily I have a really good attic, thankfully, but like I keep like polos like in boxes, like, this one's called Breaking 90. So like Breaking up 90s, like small, medium, large, XL, double XL, whatever it is. And I have them go through and people are like, oh, are you ever going to outsource? And I'm sure as we continue to grow, that conversation has come up more and more recently because, I do work my day job, but something about me getting a notification on my phone and it's like, hey, Jackson from, Illinois has ordered a polo. And I just get stoked every time I see it. It could be one polo or 10 polos. I filled out an order the other day. Somebody bought 8 golf polos. I'm like, whether you buy 8 or you buy 1, like I don't know. I love it, and I don't know. Like it's kind of like humbles you a little bit that people like the stuff that you have and you're putting it out there. So I touch every single order. I put a sticker in the bag for you. Sometimes I do little promotional things like free towels or free things, whatever it may be. We're gonna do some t-shirts coming up soon. I got a place on the street making some Gashouse golf polo t-shirts for me. But no, I run it the day to day, and my parents are always like, hey, if you need help or whatever. I went to a trade show, the PGA Super Show of the Carolinas. It was my first trade show ever, and it was and this is great. It was in February of 2020. Right for COVID, and it was up in Greensboro, North Carolina, and everybody's there. I mean, Nike's there, Cowboys there, Puma's there. They've got tents with hitting bays, and then you got little Gashouse golf. And somehow they gave me a really, really good corner booth, and I had shirts there. I had the pop up banners. I had everything. But my mom works in the wine industry, and I was like, and at the time I wasn't dating anybody, so like I could have like a girlfriend. Like, hey, baby, can you come help me with this thing for the weekend, or whatever. And I was like, hey, mom, like, will you come with me? My mom she could sell sand in the desert. Like, truthfully, she could sell snow in a blizzard. And I was like, mom, will you come with me? And she was like, absolutely, I'll go with you. She goes, can we pour wine? And I go, I don't see why we can't. So I emailed the director of the event, and I was like, hey, man, look, my mom's a sommelier. We're not going to serve anybody underage, but like, if we were to have champagne and wine at my booth, would you say no to it? And he was like, I mean, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. He was like, yeah, sure, why not? So we had, if you came over to my booth, we were doing giveaways and raffles, but then it was also, hey, we brought like champagne, like people were coming over, we had like music playing, like it was funny. Like a couple of the booths around us were like, they were doing their thing, just selling little things, and I had like the music, the wine, I'm talking to people, and it was like a really, really cool event. So yeah, that was it. We had a great time.
It's like the Catalina wine mixer, but for golf.
That's what I'm saying, man. So in the quick, skinny answer, yes, Gashouse. I run the day-to-day business, but I get some help when I go to events with, parents or friends, whatever it may be. And next year, I'm planning on spending some time. You talked about you went to the Honda Classic earlier this year, and we're going to try to go because we're in Charleston, South Carolina. So like I was down in St. Augustine, which is like right south of Jacksonville, a couple of weeks ago for a little trip. It was like a 4-hour drive. So like, we can get down to Florida like really, really quick. So I'm going to try to spend some time during next year's Florida swing. Arnold Palmer, Honda Classic, Sawgrass, all that stuff. So I'm going to try to like maybe rent a house down there for like a month and just like, go to all the events, try to be a vendor, set up where I can, and then we'll definitely link up and we'll have some golf ahead of us.
Yeah, for sure. Hit us up.
We'll
pull up, and by then we'll be getting 200,000 live viewers on the pod, so we'll have you on again. You won't need it by then, especially with TJ Maxx, everything going full motion, signing players, bang, bang, bang. You got a couple LIV guys.
We can always shoot the shit about something, man.
Yeah. I see you didn't mention the LIV Tour events that they'll probably get in on that Florida swing as well. when they come. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's fine. I mean, we're not gonna say no to it. I know there's a lot of polarizing opinions on it, but
Yeah, what do you think? Because we got a chat here from Nur. Liv needs to sign big young name player. Well,
Yeah, if they signed me, I think
Nick's
they'd
right
probably
here.
be Nick's right here.
Nick's right
I'm
here.
coming hot off of I think I shot 70, 73 in my last tournament. So I'm coming hot
Nice.
off a nice 1 over par from like 6,700 yards. So I'm almost
you're
broke a
freaking
club.
pissed.
Yeah.
I would be down to get on board with, if Liv needs polos or whatever it is like that, take the political side out of it, But one thing I have a request from them until we work with them is they got to change those damn team names. What is up with that? That's like, remember when we used to play, what was like the backyard sports games, like on our like PCs when we were like
backyard
7 or 8 years
baseball.
old. Yeah, it's like backyard baseball. It's like those
Yeah.
team names are so bad and so generic. I was like, wait a second, you're trying to tell me a company or these Saudis that have essentially they're printing cash, they have endless money. I'm like, those were the best team names that you all could come up with right now. I was like, we got to work on that.
I think what they did was they had, Nick, you probably know, I think they had team captains and the captains picked the name, right?
No chance. I feel like
okay.
I feel like first off, golfers aren't creative enough to like think of names because like if they would have thought of names, it would have been boring. It would have been like, oh, let's just be the Tigers, which would have been like, I mean, they probably better than like the Fireballs, but like golfers have no originality. Like there's no, they're creative on the course, but put them in like a classroom setting and it's just like, I don't know, like let's just be the Portland. I feel like we should have given them
Portland
cities.
people.
Cool. Yeah, the Portland people. They would have been. Cool. Let's be the Portland Golfers or something like that. Yeah.
It's just weird enough where it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my one request. So Live Golf, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, please change it. You better.
Apparently, right now, Liv is. I saw Jake Adams. He's a part of Country Club Adjacent. If you've seen like back off challenges, is what him and his guys do. But
yeah,
apparently, like you can just shoot them an email and just get some tickets. I mean, the tickets are only like $70. What you got to worry about is the $600 flight to Portland. But,
yeah.
Did you already look up the flight to Portland?
Oh yeah,
sounds like you did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $600.
Well, they come to Chicago, so I mean,
okay.
Yeah,
not too far.
They come to Florida.
I'm hoping to be in Florida by September, and that's when they come here. So,
well, you could just like, I don't know, man. Figure it out. I'm coming with you, so.
Yeah. Well, actually, Nick, they have the final events in Miami.
Oh, perfect.
At Trump. Yeah,
that's gonna be bougie, very bougie. Yeah. I can tell in Miami.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I'll share my thoughts because I'm sure everyone cares. I think Liv fails in 5 max years. I kind of want Liv to fail unless PGA Tour can figure out a way to have, like, I like Brooks, I like Bryson, I like Reed. I feel like they bring this enjoying side to golf. Like, it's nice actually kind of having a rivalry between Liv and the Tour, but if the Tour is going to kind of kibosh them from playing in the tournaments, it's kind of like, there's not much incentive as a viewer, in my opinion, to watch these events. But I'm hopeful that they figure stuff out. I mean, but people there is a big divide in golf right now. People are very the DMs are heavy anytime I even just spell the word LIV. It's like a dog hearing TREAT. It's like, oof.
As somebody who's on the golf course a lot and talks to the people,
Yeah, the people.
I've noticed the changing of opinions from earlier when Liv came out. It was like, oh my God, why the hell would anyone do this? To now today, some of the of course it gets brought up in every round of golf you play. Yeah. And today it was, well, the PGA Tour takes like 23 like Saudi backed sponsors, and I was just like, and having that like, so why should I care if like another tour sponsored by the Saudis? And I was like, okay, let's. I'm like the tide's changing. I feel like a little bit, in the the golf community. People are liking Live, I guess. They want to live, laugh, love, and I get it. I'm trying to play, so sign me up.
I feel like with every like golfer they've like signed, because obviously like in the beginning it was a super hard line. I think like everyone was team like anti-Live, and then they started to sign they got Dustin and then, Phil and like that first kind of wave. And then they kind of got like that second wave where it sounds like Brooks and like Abraham Answer and like people. I mean, Brooks is kind of polarizing, but like a lot of people like Abraham Answer. He was not like an unliked guy on tour. Yeah. I was very surprised about Taylor Gooch, by the way. I'm still scratching my head on that one. But like every new golfer that has like a pretty recognizable name, I feel like the blow is being lessened a little bit, if that makes any sense. And that's just from what I've seen from, and that might not be my personal opinion, but that's just what I've seen from like reading comments and like, getting on, just golf threads and talking and stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of like the rhetoric I've started to see a little bit.
I think it's funny they targeted like some of the most hated golfers on the PGA Tour. Like they just wanted the controversy. They went after Bryson and Reed and and like
even Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
I talk about this all the time on my podcast, or on this podcast. Jeez, like Phil Mickelson is like one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest golfers of all time. And like, even if just 11 of his second place major finishes, even if just like 3 of them went his way, I mean, I feel like it'd be a little bit more. But I mean, people hate Phil Mickelson for some reason. I'm all for like a rival golf tour, because it originally was like what the PGL, they wanted to kind of be like almost like a complimentary tour to the tour for the slow seasons. It's just a really interesting time in golf right now. It's like it's just crazy. Yeah, it really is.
I think something that like may come out from this and I was thinking about this earlier. I was working and I just had like a wild LIV versus PGA thought come across my head. I'm sure a lot of people have had this thought too, but like, let's say LIV fails or it succeeds, I guess whatever you want it to be. I think it'll end up pushing the PGA to do different things. We've already seen that. They said they're changing the fall series. They're adding those like new $25 million purse events, no cut. So they're already changing. And it's kind of funny because like LIV essentially, everything before was like, oh, PJ should do this. And then they were like, we're not going to do it. But then they got a gun to their head. Now they said, now we're going to do it. But I think what they could do too, and maybe I don't know if they'd ever bring LIV people back. That's another discussion for another day. But the PGA Tour, I mean, 40-something tournaments, they're all stroke play week in, week out. That can get stagnant after a while. And that's the conversation that everybody's had. And they've been saying it for years. But I hope that what LIV does is it now changes the PGA Tour to do more events. Like, one of my favorite events is the Zurich Classic. Like, not the biggest. I mean, big names go, like Cam Smith and those guys there, but like Tiger doesn't play the Zurich, and like I don't remember if Rory played it or not. But like, that's a fun event. Like the PNC Championship, I don't even know if that's an official event with them, or I know it's like an off-season event, but like they should do more like mixed events or like things that are not just the typical everybody versus everybody stroke play. Let's add a little sugar and spice to it, because I think they'll need to do that to react to LIV, because they're serious. I could see LIV doing anything. Like they might go completely off the wall with a style of competition for an event. I think the PGA Tour, I mean, they've got the ability to do that. Hey, change whatever ABC event to now make this a mixed event. Like bring in the best LPGA players. I'd love to see the Korda sisters tee it up with like, I mean, Rory and those guys. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, do more mix, do more, and I had this thought today, like, and I know it would be interesting to do because of like amateurs not being able to get paid, but like, let's say you paired like let's say it was 100-man event or whatever it was, and you paired like the top 100 guys and you got the best 100 college golfers, and like they played in like a mixed event together, but they were like teammates. Like you could run it with it left, right, and center. I mean, I just hope that LIV at least makes the PGA Tour like pivot a little bit, like do more interesting stuff. I don't know. That's my take on it.
I actually love that. I love both of them, LPGA and college. I mean, that right there is genius. I'm gonna go make full videos. Say Rich from Gashouse Golf came up with these genius ass ideas.
Please,
because I remember like watching like match play WGCs as a kid and being like, these are freaking dope. Like,
and it brings out a different style of player too. Like Kisner is a match play guy.
Yeah,
he might not win the Masters, but he's like, I mean, they call him the Bulldog besides he went to UGA. Like, I mean, he's like, when you're fighting him in a match play event, it's like you'd probably rather play like anybody but Kisner, and like those types of guys. So it makes certain players better during certain times.
Yeah, I saw a clip on TikTok of I think it was this past year. What was it? Was it the Dell that Scotty beat Kiz in the finals? I think it was that one.
Yeah,
and Kiz was struggling all day against Scotty, I forget which hole it was. He was down like 3 strokes. It was like 13th, 14th hole or something like that. And Kiz hits his shot. There's water on the left and like fairway on the right. Kiz is on the left side. Scotty Scheffler is in the middle of the fairway. Kiz hits his shot, just starts walking. He walks right past Scotty Scheffler, and he walks all the way up to the green, puts a freaking mark on his ball. And Scotty Scheffler's like still in the freaking middle of the fairway, like waiting to hit. I love that. I think that's just like that's awesome, competitive, fun golf to watch right there.
It's called pace of play.
It is called pace of play, but like it's kind of like that's just getting in the head. Like you're almost getting like desperate to just like have Scotty make some type of mistake, get that momentum, and just ride off of that. So I thought that. I saw that on TikTok and it was cool. But I agree. I hope the tour, and it, as you mentioned, I mean, that $25 million, whatever it is at the end of the year, it's in the right direction. My biggest issue with LIV is just my issue with the PGA Tour is just because I run Golfballing, and it's like if I post anything of the PGA Tour, even if it's in my basement on my phone of the tournament, page gets shut down for a week. And it's like, well, I understand you want to make your money off it and you don't want other people profiting off your product, but at the same time, like, figure it out. So is what I'm saying, figure it out. So
I've heard that before.
It's just it's ridiculous. It happened at the Memorial for me. I posted Max Homa duffing a shot because it was hilarious, and people are loving it. People are sharing it. Maybe it won't get someone to say like, oh, is this golf? Like I'm gonna go play golf, but it's at least golf content on a golf page. What bad can that really do? It answers nothing. So
I say we got to go to a LIV event, man. I don't know.
We do have to go to a LIV event. So
I'll meet you down in Florida for that one.
Let's make
it happen.
October, I think, is when it is. And like I said, the tickets are like $70. So it's not like
we'll get them for free.
We can definitely get them for free.
Hopefully I'll play in it because then I'll give you guys like my player pass tickets. So I'll leave them at the front gate.
Perfect. So, we'll be rocking our Gashouse polos, and everyone will be like, "Dang, is that?"
They really need to have.
What is that right there?
They need to have qualifiers for the LIV, but it like your handicap has to be over like a 5. And then so every guy who's like, every fucking 5 handicap that's on the golf course, and he's like, I could have shot 24 over and made 120K. It's like, well, no, you couldn't have. Like maybe if you were like a +2, but still, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're still playing competitive golf, and Andy Ogletree won the goddamn USAM. So
yeah, exactly.
Or did he? I don't know if
I'm over a 5 handicap. I'm going. I'd make an ass of myself in a heartbeat. At least I'd look good doing it while I have a Gashouse.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd be like, wow, that Gashouse guy shot like 95 today. I'd be like, that really looked good though. I'm like, let's go.
They should give him like 100 strokes, and then, or like no, give him like 70. Give him like 50. I'm sorry, it's 3 rounds. Give him 50. But if he doesn't win, he doesn't get any money. So like.
That brings something up.
He has to win the entire event, and then he can get the 3.5 mil. But if he doesn't, he gets $0. But you get a 50-stroke head start. So
that would be. I wouldn't actually be surprised if LIV just
did it for shit.
Just some random dude. Because
give him
that's interesting. Rich, we were talking about this on the podcast last week, and I'll say it for you. If you were 50 over. 50 over. Let's say you're 50 under at Brookline this past week. You're
what
50
round?
Under round 1.
Like just to start. Okay.
Just to start. Yeah, you're just starting at 50 under. Are you, what comes
And let's see, Matthew Fitzpatrick, he won it. What was his number? What did he shoot? 7? 6?
I think it was 7.
So I was watching Eric Anders Lang, who from Random Golf Club. He did. I think he's like a 4 or 5 handicap, somewhere between that 4 to 6 range. He can stroke it. He went out there, and it wasn't during, and you could see it was definitely months and months ago. They were still building the grandstands. It looked kind of cold out when he played. I'd probably say it was like early springtime, maybe. And he went out there, and I watched just the first half because he plays 18 holes. He always does like the break 90 series. Like, can a regular guy break 90 at a U.S. Open course in their conditions, or US Open course. And he went out there, and I pretty much remember after the first 9, he was like 11 over.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, let's just say, you compounded that. I mean, one round he's 22 over. I mean, not every day he's going to be 22 over, but I mean,
Yeah.
let's say he even does a little bit better. Let's say he shoots 15 over each day. I mean, that's 60 over right there. So that puts you at plus 10. I'm going to say no, man. It's hard. I get the jitters playing. I belong to a course here in Charleston. I played in a member guest like 2 weeks ago. And, I went up to the first tee and I just completely shit the bed. Like I played so bad. Like the guys I was with, I was like, hey, like, look, I'm really sorry. I'm really not playing well today. And then just turned into a drinking event because my one buddy, we ended up shooting. It was the 9-hole best ball, 9-hole scramble. So on the first 9 is, if I shot a par, he shot a birdie, we took his score, whatever. And we ended up shooting a couple under, and like I contributed like off the tee and from the green, I did absolutely zero. Like not one single shot of mine I took, and I played so bad. But that's because I turned it into a drinking event. So at the end, I really won. But I did make a few birdie putts though. So knowing how I do under a little bit of that pressure and knowing that I've got guys, I mean, these guys are coming at you. That 50 immediately becomes like, now it's 40 after 9 holes if you shot what Eric Anders Lang shot. So it's like you're just seeing your margin just go down and you're watching just this herd of people come at you at full speed. I'd be shitting my pants. I mean, no, I need like 100 strokes.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I don't think I could. I could not. But I was wondering because Nick's former Division 1 golfer.
I think I don't know. I think it'd be close. Like I honestly think it'd be close.
I think it would be close as well, just because you're not. I mean, let's say you shoot 85.
Still there's a skill gap there. 13. There is a skill gap.
You know what I'm saying? Like even if
it's
a terrible round for you, I would say
it was a
like
par 70,
85.
right?
Oh shit, it was par 70. That's
right.
They
only had 2 par 5s. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm not saying like I don't like. I feel like it definitely could shoot over 85. Like it could happen there. Especially that Saturday. Like I don't think I break 80 that Saturday. No chance. Like no chance in hell. Like unless I'm playing like the best golf I've played in my life. But yeah, I don't know. I think it gets really dicey. I would love to go play under. I want to play a U.S. Open course under like U.S. Open conditions and just see if I can break 90.
Yeah,
I could break 90. I don't know why I said that, but not in the.
I'm going to play the Ocean course in a few weeks. There's some guys that I'm friends with. They loop down there. So Kiowa from Charleston, where I live in Charleston, it's about a 40-minute drive. And actually, a bunch of the caddies, they just went to like a caddy tournament up in, they opened a Pinehurst this past week. And I gave them all Gashouse polos. And they're like, oh, Rich, we'll get you on. You got to come play with us. And I was like, and I've heard horror stories from how hard the Ocean course is. And honestly, I would probably say, I mean, that's probably comparable to like difficulty level of like U.S. Open courses. I mean, with that wind coming in off the ocean. So when I go there and shoot like 125 and lose like $300 for the pro ones, you guys will be the first people to know. And I will walk out of there with my head held up high. Like, I looked good. It's fine.
Yeah, there you
all
go.
these pro ones, whatever. It is what it is. I'll push you.
Yeah, one of my proudest moments. I did play Aaron Hills, but the conditions was like it was so easy. But I did play from like 7,800 yards, and I shot 76, and I was like so happy. Like that was like the best. It was on my birthday too, and I also had COVID at the time, but I didn't know I had COVID. So sorry about that.
Sorry.
But no, that was like the best 76. I feel like, but it was also the like easiest condition Aaron Hills could ever be. So.
When we went to Pinehurst in a golf trip last year, or I'm sorry, back in 2020, it was with my buddy who I was telling you about before, Dan, and then his friend who caddies. He's caddying at the Senior U.S. Open right now, and a fraternity brother of mine. And we played number 4, and I swear it was like the windiest day on this planet. Like it couldn't have gotten any windier. I remember looking, I was like 110 yards away, and I normally fly my 7-iron like 170 on the dot, and I was 110 yards and I had to hit a full 7-iron in.
Wow.
I mean, it was a little uphill, but I was like, when you see 110 yards and you're on a course, I mean, obviously 4 is not number 2, so it's not a U.S. Open course, but there's still some turtleback greens, still tricky. And I remember I walked out of that round that day and it was super windy, and I shot like 96 or something like that. And it was some of the bunkers on that course. I mean, when you're playing that, like, and Nick, obviously you played D1 golf in college, so you played some of the best courses. I was looking at a bunker on like hole 4 or 5, and I think the bunker at the time it looked as tall as the Empire State Building. I ended up chipping out backwards and then chipping back over it because I was like, I don't have a shot in my bag. Like, I couldn't open up my my 60-degree wide enough. I was like, I need like a 90-degree wedge. Like, how do you physically get that out of here? There's the Italian of me coming out. I'm like talking about, how do you get this out of here? So I chipped it backwards and I chipped over it. I'm thinking like a triple or something. But just playing number 4 in the windy conditions it was today, and I shot like I said, 95 or something like that. I can only imagine what a full U.S. Open course would be in its prime. So when Eric Anders Lang shot like 20 something over, I was like, thank you, homie. Like you took one for the team. He walked so we could run.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you mentioned I have to ask.
Were you about to ask where you're going to college?
No, I was going to ask what fraternity was he in.
So dual question.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a member of Chi Psi at the University of South Carolina, so I'm a Gamecock. So any of your Clemson listeners, I'm really sorry. I do have an orange polo out there. I am from Greenville, so a little bit of love. So all my Clemson people can still rock Gashouse and feel good about it.
That's where my dad and uncle went. So
they
I'm
went
a
to
big
Clemson?
Cock fan over here.
Oh, they went to USC. Fan. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cox by 90, Cox by a billion, Cox on top. I mean, it's the best.
We had Elliot Fry, former place kicker for the South Carolina Gamecocks, on the podcast a while ago.
No shit.
Yeah.
So, all right, I don't want to keep you too long, so I got 2 questions for you. The first one, I'll let it marinate in your head. I want a dream foursome, the Rangers letting you play with 5 at a course. So let that marinate in the back of your head while you answer let's say you're boozing a little bit with the boys. It's a chill, relaxed round. You're at the halfway house. I'd love to hear the order here.
I am actually writing down. I've got 2, so myself and then 4 others included.
Yep.
I've got 3 of them. I might have to simmer on the last one. I'm trying to think who would be really polarizing. I would love nothing more. The first 2 are so easy for me. I want to golf, not with them individually. I want them at the same time. I want Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. That would be so good. Because, Bill, he might, both Bill and Donald, they both will say stuff that might be a little like, whoa, what did you say there, buddy? So you get Bill Clinton, he'd say something, but then, you'd have Donald and he'd be like, that was the worst shot I've ever seen in my entire life. Everybody agrees. That's the worst shot, Richard. You could have hit it better. You're a horrible golfer. I want to get that commentary, but then I want to get Bill a little bit drunk and he starts talking about some Oval Office shit from the 90s. And then you're like, oh, wow, this is really getting good. And then you sprinkle in John Daly in there too. Cause he's going to be ripping absolute 12 Diet Cokes, 10 bags of M&Ms. He's just going to be acting. 2 packs of cigs. I hope he smokes Marlboro Reds. I don't know what he smokes, but I hope he smokes Cowboy Killers. So Slick Willie, the Donald, John Daly, that would be great. And then the last one I'm thinking, I have to throw in another curveball. I mean, obviously everybody wants to play with Tiger. Yeah. I think I'll go to a golfer for this one. I know I said John, but I just want the eye rolls of Brooks Koepka. When I was watching his U.S. Open interview the other day and they were talking to him about LIV, he couldn't eye roll any harder than you could physically eye roll. And the banter back and forth between him and because he's the type of guy where he likes golf, but he doesn't play golf when he's home. He's like, yep, I'm here. I play to make money. I don't play any other time than it is. And I would just love to hear him eye roll listening to Bill and Donald talk shit at each other, and then John's in the background with a Hooters girl smoking cigs, just ripping darts, and I'm like, that to me would be a great day on the golf course.
I feel like he'd be so out of place. Yeah. Oh, what course?
Oh, my favorite course I've ever played is the Dormy Club in Pinehurst. So it's actually the background on my phone. So actually, I can't show my text messages. But when we did that Pinehurst trip, we played 4. We played Southern Pines. We played Mid-South, Callamore, and the last course we played was the Dormy Club. And everyone was like, how was, Pinehurst not your favorite? And don't get me wrong, Pinehurst was great. Callamore was great. Those courses are legendary. But something about that Dormy Club, it was so, so cool. And if I think it's private now. We kind of had to make a few phone calls to get in there. But if you can play the Dormy Club in the Pinehurst area, walking in between from hole to hole, if you've ever been to the Dominican Republic or out in Costa Rica or something, and you kind of feel like you're in the jungle, in between each hole, you forget that you're on a golf course. You're like, wait, am I golfing or am I in the middle of a resort or some tropical jungle? I don't know. It was a crazy sensation, and it was cool because the course wasn't just, it's long, it's hard. There was a par 3 on there. It was 105 yards. It was on this little shelf. It was tricky. I mean, the course was beautiful. It was in great shape. The Dormy Club. I love it. It's my favorite I've played so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next question, or I guess my last question here is, Nick, if you start thinking, but halfway house order, boozing a little bit with the boys. What you getting?
Yeah, with Donald.
With Donald, I mean, I feel like you gotta throw a pork missile in there. I mean, if I'm gonna go halfway house order, I wish it would be somewhere that like had a teleportation device that could like pull in cookout trays. Have you guys ever had cookout before?
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
had cookout
in Nashville.
Nashville, yeah.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah, if you could get a place that had cookout trays and the milkshakes, but make it like a boozy milkshake or something. Oh, dude, you got to get. It's like because you can get like cheeseburgers, corn dogs, hush puppies, whatever you want, whatever the fuck you want. So I would do a cookout tray, or I'd probably get the double cheeseburger. The side would be like quesadilla, and I get the hush puppies. And then booze wise, I mean, you gotta rip some Fireball heaters, and just like a billion Coronas, like just a whole caseload of Coronas. I mean, that's all my roommate and I drink. We just slug back Coronas all the time. So I'd say cookout and just 1 billion Corona.
Man, I forgot about cookout, dude. When Nick and I went to Nashville in January, and what do we go 3 times? It was at least
minimum 4.
Yeah, I mean we were
lunch.
there for like 3 days.
When I was at the University of South Carolina, my sophomore junior, I don't remember what it was. They put a cookout downtown, and like the downtown area is called 5 Points. It's where all like the bars are. Everybody goes and parties there, and they put a cookout like in 5 Points, and it would be hard pressed to go out and then not go to cookout afterwards. I mean, the line there. I mean, that was the place to like. You know, it's the end of the night. We're going to cookout, and then we're going to walk our asses all the way home with that cookout tray, and just be drunk and like eat it. It was great.
Enjoy,
so that was a great time in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Nick, you got any final remark or question?
I'd say my final remark is go check out Gashouse golf polos and go buy some polos. Buy whatever. Buy the entire website out, because that's what I would do if I had the money. I just buy it all out.
That would be cool. Yeah,
I appreciate that. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Rich from Gashouse Golf, I will put your link and your website. What is your website, if any?
It's gashousegolf.com, and then Instagram is just at gashousegolf. So we try to make it as easy as possible to find.
Hell yeah! Well, it was a pleasure, man. You were a phenomenal guest. Definitely one of the most exciting, entertaining interviews, and we're definitely playing golf. I don't.
Sure.
Maybe it might not be at LIV in October, but it's happening, and I'll bring a shit ton of Coronas.
Please, just like, man, if I could get a golf cart that could like custom have a keg of Coronas on the back, done.
I'd sign up
done.
for that. Yeah.
Corona Light. Do you want to make polos together? I mean, we can like definitely make some badass polos for you. So,
dude, let's do it.
Yeah,
we've never had a golf ball and polo. That would be like a limited drop. Like that would be the coolest thing ever.
We could definitely make that happen. I mean, I've already got some ideas in my head. I was looking, obviously, with your logo. We could do a lot with that for sure.
Let's go, dude.
My designer, she's great. I'm like, when I draw, it's like stick figures. Like I'm really bad. But I will somehow like stick figure something together for her, and I'll show it to her, and I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? And she'll be like, I know exactly what you're looking for. And I don't know how you do, because I barely do myself. And then next thing you know, we whip up something. She did 9 of my 10 polos. Of our original drop, so she's super talented. So golf ball and polos in the bag. Let's do it.
Yes, do it. Let's go. Hell yeah. So I'm gonna hit you up about that, and I'm also gonna try and get some polos for the pod, for the channel, just for promo, unboxing video, whatever. And yeah, everyone go check out Gashouse Golf, because
check it out.
He's got it going on. Thank you for listening, and we'll have you on sometime again, 100%. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was a blast.
Yeah.